It was an ordinary Tuesday afternoon, or so it seemed. The fluorescent lights buzzed softly above the aisles, the hum of the air conditioner kept the store cool, and the steady tap of the register filled the otherwise quiet space. But today, everything would change for one unsuspecting owner and his overworked employee. And it would all start with a single moment. A thud. The unmistakable sound of a body hitting the floor. Tom Harris had always prided himself on being a hands-on store owner. He didn't just sign the checks and oversee the business from behind a desk. He wanted to know his employees, hear their stories, understand the challenges they faced. But today, he was no longer the boss, he was just another observer, someone watching an unraveling story unfold before his eyes. Sarah. Tom rushed forward, his heart dropping when he saw his employee lying on the cold tile, her arms splayed out as if she had been struck down by some invisible force. The grocery store, his pride and joy, had been her second home for the last 3 years. Tom knew her well enough to know that something was wrong. But it wasn't just that Sarah had collapsed. It was the way she had been working herself into the ground. Her tired eyes had been a telltale sign over the past few weeks, but Tom had been too busy with store meetings, new inventory orders, and expanding the business to notice. When Sarah's coworker, Lily, rushed to her side, her voice trembled. "Is she okay?" Tom knelt beside Sarah, placing a hand on her shoulder, trying to shake her awake. Slowly, her eyes fluttered open, and she blinked in confusion, as if she couldn't understand what had just happened. I'm fine," Sarah murmured weakly, trying to sit up. Her face was pale, and there was a layer of sweat on her brow, but there was something more alarming, a hollow exhaustion in her voice. "Sarah, you're not fine," Tom said, his voice cracking. He turned to Lily. "Get the paramedics. Now." As Lily dashed to the back to call for help, Tom helped Sarah sit up. She leaned heavily against him, her breath shallow. She tried to smile, but it was a weak attempt, one that didn't reach her eyes. I just didn't sleep much last night." "It's nothing," she said, though the tremor in her voice betrayed her. Tom knew better. Over the past few months, Sarah had been taking on more hours, covering shifts when others called in sick, staying late to organize stock, and pushing herself beyond her limits. All to make sure the store ran smoothly. And why? Because Tom had been so focused on growing the business, on making it successful, that he had missed the signs, the exhaustion in Sarah's posture, the sighs when she thought no one was listening, the way she would retreat into herself after long days of work. Tom's chest tightened as he realized the truth. Sarah's collapse wasn't just from a lack of sleep, it was from a broken system. It was from his failure to protect her, to see her struggle. To recognize that the business he built, his dream, was coming at the cost of the people who made it possible. His employees. The paramedics arrived soon after, and Sarah was taken to the hospital for a thorough checkup. Tom, still reeling from what had just happened, stood there in stunned silence. It felt like everything he had worked so hard for, the business, the growth, the expansion, had just come crashing down. It had been built on the backs of people like Sarah, people who had given everything to keep the wheels turning, while he had been too caught up in the race to notice they were burning out. Over the next few days, Tom couldn't shake the image of Sarah's frail body on the floor of his store. He couldn't stop replaying the moments leading up to it, wondering where he had gone wrong. When he visited her in the hospital, Sarah tried to reassure him, but her tired eyes spoke louder than her words. "I'll be okay," she said. "Don't worry about me." But Tom did worry. And he knew that it wasn't just about Sarah. It was about all the people who worked for him, all the lives that had been affected by his ambition. The following week, Tom made a decision. He stepped back from the day-to-day operations of the store and began reevaluating everything. He spent time with his employees, listening to their concerns, their struggles, and their ideas. He started to understand that a successful business wasn't just about sales numbers, it was about people. He introduced new policies that prioritized work-life balance. He offered flexible hours for his employees, created a wellness program to help them manage stress, and, most importantly, he made sure to check in with them, not just as their boss, but as a person who cared. He created a culture where people were allowed to rest, take sick days, and ask for help when they needed it. The changes weren't instant, but over time, the atmosphere in the store shifted. Sarah returned to work a few weeks later, and though it was clear she still had a lot to recover from, she was grateful. "You didn't have to do all this," she told Tom one afternoon as they shared a cup of coffee in the break room. "Yes, I did," Tom replied. "I failed you, Sarah. I didn't see it, but I'm seeing it now. And I'll make sure that no one else here has to work themselves to the point of collapse." As the months passed, Tom's business continued to grow, but now it was with a sense of balance. The store became a place not just of commerce, but of community, a place where employees felt valued, where their mental and physical well-being were priorities. Sarah's collapse was a wake-up call, but it had also been a turning point, a moment of clarity that changed everything. Tom's story wasn't just one of business success, it was a story of redemption, of learning the hard way that no success is worth sacrificing the well-being of the people who help you achieve it. And as he stood in the store one afternoon, watching his team work together, he knew he had made the right choice. In the end, Tom learned that success wasn't about how much money the business made or how fast it grew. It was about how he treated the people who made it all possible. And in taking care of his people, he had built something stronger than he ever imagined, a business founded on compassion, respect, and true leadership. As for Sarah, she eventually found the strength to laugh again, a real, genuine laugh that echoed through the aisles, and Tom realized something else: a happy employee wasn't just good for business. It was the soul of the business.